Morning all, how the devil are you? I hope you're well. How's your weekend been? Good morning, Foxes. How the devil are you? It's Sunday. I tell you what, I've messed this up already. I'm that tired. Let's start again, shall we? Good morning, Foxes. How the devil are you today? How's your weekend been so far? Well, you know what day it is. It's Sunday morning. It's 9:30 a.m. It's time for the famous Foxes Aftermath show run by the fans, for the fans. And you know what? Your opinion matters. So come on, get them comments in. Let's get going. It's kickoff time. Come on, you Foxes.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Morning all. Sorry about that start. I'm a little bit knackered from work, and it's a bit early Sunday morning for me this time. It seems a bit early. I hadn't had much sleep last night, but we'll get there. I've got my two amigos, one from Loughborough. Come on, Reedy. Morning, pal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm not as bland today.
You're not as bland today. You're not as normal. And we'll bring in Geordie Jono. Hey, Geordie Jono. How are you, mate?
Not bad. Too hot, though. It's hot up here.
Too hot? You should have come live out here, pal. It's so hot.
No, I'd rather not. I'd rather not.
Ross's comment up. Morning, lads. Love the first 6 games of the season, especially Coventry and Rotherham within the first 4 games. Let's just drop him out. Not the minute, Ross. He's a bit quick, that was. Going to the fixtures. Decent start, the fixtures, wasn't it? Read it.
Yeah, I'd say yes. Obviously, because I'm a lot younger than most, I'm not too big on the big derby, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with being at home first game. If it was Coventry away, then it'd be a lot more of a huge game, I guess. But it's a big test for Enzo on the first game of the season, I must admit. It's the hardest game you could probably give. They lost the final.
Yeah, it is. They were so close to Wembley, to the Premiership, and then we just missed out the last few minutes. I mean, if you think about it, we've got Coventry, then Burton in the Cup, Huddersfield away, Cardiff at home, Rotherham away. It's pretty, Jono, what do you think? An easy start, do you think?
We can't say, no one can say, oh, that's an easy game, that's a harder game. I don't want that. We're going to take it game by game. But I'm happy we got Coventry first because it'll be a good test for Enzo. I think it'll be, for the home fans, it is a local Midlands derby. So we'll win it. Hopefully we'll win it.
You've got a Yorkshire derby for you straight away, haven't you? In about the 4th game. You must be looking forward to it.
2, Huddersfield as well. That's
Huddersfield. Forgot about them.
That's my favourite, and if I go, we're going to win. I've been 5 times, 5 wins. So I am anyone that can get me a ticket. Thank you. But do you know what? End of the day, I mean, Coventry at home. You just couldn't write. You could not write a better way to say the first Championship game we have since 2014 when we played Doncaster at home. You play a team Coventry. You know the M69 derby. Obviously, to you, Reed. Obviously, you don't know much about it because obviously. Still little. Obviously, Jamie obviously knows a lot more than me, and about the M69 derby. From my time, anyway, I've loved it. I went to the last away game. Ironically, it's the same day, 6th of August, 2011. We're beaten 1-0.
But have you seen there's quite a decent stat going about, Jamie, Reader, about the last 4 teams to go up have all had Huddersfield as their
first away game. I saw that. I saw that. I shared. I put it in the chat, and well, we can't just judge that on if we win that, then maybe we go up. But again, there's always stats there to prove that they should be doing stuff. So hopefully, if we beat Huddersfield away, we can have a brilliant season going forward.
It's actually the last 3 teams. I said forward, didn't I? So it's the last 3 have played Huddersfield away the first game. But it's a stat
for a
there.
reason.
It's a good stat, that isn't it? Though teams that have played Huddersfield away first game have normally got promoted.
The only problem with that is Neil Warnock's in charge.
Yeah, he's old. He's boring.
Right, that will come back to haunt us, Reedy. I tell you now, because I tell you what, Neil Warnock, whether we love him, I mean, we don't like him at Leicester for 2002-3 reasons. Jamie will know, and you know, whether you like him or not, he kept Huddersfield up. Anytime he's gone to a club, he's done really well at Huddersfield. So you know, you can say that, and I tell you now, if something happens, I'll replay this clip back. That's for sure.
You can't beat the mighty Leicester, though, can you, mate? So.
Wow, you can't say that every time. Everyone was beating the mighty Leicester last year.
Yeah, that was a bit of a...
Right then, lads and lasses. The first question of the day is: when Enzo comes in on July the 3rd, what is he going to look at first? Because the goals scored are not a problem, because we scored as many goals as what Villa did when they were 7th. They finished 7th. The defence is a bit more. We conceded. There's only 2 teams conceded more than us, Leeds and Southampton. We went down with them. But for a championship winning team, for a championship team, the defence looks quite strong. With, I'd say, Suter and Wout Fez, and then you've got Thomas and Christensen and JJ and Ricky P, if they stay. So it's looking quite strong at the minute. So how's he going to get the best out of that defence, Reedy?
It's hard because you're saying that the attack and scoring goals was not an issue. But the problem is, if we lose out on Barnes, Maddison and whatnot, then it could be an issue. So I would probably say make sure you get the front line firing first before you look at the defence. And that's by either if you see someone go in the attack like a Kelechi Iheanacho or Daka, you reinforce that by getting somebody like the Coventry striker who scored 20 plus goals in the Championship. So firstly, for me, as much as the defence was an issue, if you like you said, the defence and the backup we've got in the back line, for me, is still quality enough in the Premier League for the Championship. So I'd hope that the team that we've got in the back line is perfectly capable of being good enough in the Championship. But for me, it all depends on making sure we fire well. Because if we don't fire well in the Championship, there's no point even trying and stuff. Andy
Medder seems to think we need an injury-free Johnny Evans. What's your view on that, Geordie Jono?
Well, we had a bit of an argument before the stream started about Mr. Evans, and I feel that he'll be a good asset to the club if he's just a Wes Morgan role where he only comes in if it's absolutely necessary, or as a role where he's a big voice in the changing room, where he's been in the Championship. He's a Premier League winning player for one of the biggest clubs in the world. He is a lot of experience in defence, so I think we'll need him as a voice in the changing room as an experienced player.
Yeah, Ross, what do you think of Connor Cody? Because a lot of people are putting in the comments. He's been mentioned as well. He's had Premiership experience. He's got Wolves up. He had a year at Everton last year. He's an England international. Do you think there's any chance?
Anything's possible in football, to be honest. You know, this year has been a weird year. Obviously for us in general, Luton Town in the Premier League, let's just put that in perspective. Anything's possible in football. And if we get Connor Cody, get Connor Cody. But I don't want us to be buying a load of Premier League experience, because it's not the Premier League anymore. We've got to look at Championship experience. Someone just put in the comments then about Jerry Yates at Blackpool. You know, in the day, yeah, he scored 13, 14 goals, but that's in a Blackpool side, in a struggling Blackpool side. You know, if he can score that many goals for Blackpool, think out what he can play for us. If it depends on who stays and who goes. And you asked it was all a question at the beginning, like when Enzo comes in. The first thing we need to do is figure out who the hell's going and who the hell's staying, because at the minute we have no idea what team's going to be at Northampton.
Well, I think he's doing that now, isn't he? He's not just sitting on his arse, twiddling his thumbs, looking round and using the swimming pool and sleeping in the hotel and playing golf. He's actually doing some work behind the scenes. We don't know what he's doing. He could be talking to players now. Oh, Ross has gone. There he goes. He could be talking to players now. We just don't know what's happening, do we? I mean, KDH and Madders are both in bloody Ibiza. KDH, I thought he'd be a future captain, but there's talk about him going because of the abuse he got from fans. Reedy, did you hear that at the grounds? Or
I've not heard anything about him maybe moving on. Obviously, there's a slight rumour about him going to Luton a while back, but that was mainly because he was at Luton a few years ago when he was on loan. So it's a difficult one because if you don't say Dewsbury Hall as captain, who would be captain in your eyes? Who you think is staying other than Dewsbury Hall?
That's the one. Vardy for me should have been player manager for the last 7 games. That would have been absolutely fantastic. We might have gone down, but what a 7 weeks it would have been with him in charge.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with Vardy. I think there's no really any players other than, like, say, you'd say probably Evans if he stayed, but he won't play games.
Some communication from the club would be nice. It would be just to, you see these little clips of him walking in and sitting in, but there's no actual communication. I know signings and that are all done behind the backs and stuff like that, and we don't hear till the last moment until someone breaks the news. But it would be nice if we just had a bit more communication from the club, wouldn't it, Jono?
Yes, we need, like, not saying like what we're going to be doing or what to expect, but like just saying, you know, Enzo's in the club and, you know, he's working on something, and just a bit more open of where the club stands in terms of where we want to be going in the next few seasons or even next season. Just what's he looking for? You know, what does he want from his team or anything like that? Just, you know, again, like remember last season where, you know, we didn't get our kit release until like a few weeks before the season started, and we didn't get any transfers or anything like that. So just a bit more communication with the fans would be great.
Ross, I don't know how much you know. Gray's just put a comment on about Will Alves and Braybrook. Do you think they've got? I know they both had ACLs in January and February time, so they'll be about ready to come in. Do you think they're still a bit too young for regular football, championship football?
Absolutely not. We gave. I mean, obviously you'll know Jamie, Jamie Senior, Richard Stearman. We gave him a debut, and at such a young age. What, 16 is it? Andy King as well. 16 years.
Back then, though, Ross, football was slightly different.
True, but then we had a 15-year-old debut for Rochdale a few years ago. So, you know, end of the day, when is the time? People are, they're too young, but when is the time? You got to start somewhere. You know, people say when you apply for a job, you've got experience. Well, you need experience to gain experience. So you need to start off somewhere. And I think if we were still in the Premier League, I think no, go out on loan, get some game experience. But because I think now, gives us a chance. Why not? Give him a chance. I'm not straight away straight in the team. What I'm saying is build them into it slowly. Like
I think with the winger situation as well, obviously with Barnes does go, we will be very, very light on wingers. But even though we might go two up top and not play winger wise, someone like Alves.
Barnes, I can see Barnes staying until at least Christmas time, you know.
Well, again, if he does stay and he does score goals, I'd be happy to. But for me, I do think we need to get rid of him so we can start buying other players.
It's the wages for me at the moment. Maddison and Barnes are on such high wages, and especially since, you know, the money aspect of the club, we need to get players on championship wages, not Premier League wages.
But this is the problem now with the players. If they stay till the beginning of the season, it's going to cause, you know, cause a Fofana issue where he didn't go before the end of the transfer window. This is why I preferred the transfer window shut before the beginning of the season. It was so much better. So much better. Everyone kicked off about it. All the big clubs kicked off about it. But at the end of the day, I preferred that. And now, if let's say, go on.
Ross, I'm sure that you've always blown your trumpet for George Hurst and that to be in the squad. But I don't think he's ever scored a championship goal in the loans he's been at. When he's dropped into League One, he scored. But when he's gone into championship, he hasn't scored. I mean, Disco Pants' son, David Hurst, I don't know. Is he good enough? He's 23. Surely if he was good enough, he would have been in the team by now.
obviously, I think I said earlier about starting experience. I think he just needs that goal. I think that team that can be in that. I mean, obviously we're at Rotherham. Obviously, he hardly started at Rotherham when he was there. He literally, out of all games, I think he started about 2, and he always came on for 5 minutes to go. You can't change a game in 5 minutes. I'm sorry, but you can't. Then he went at Blackburn. He actually played all right, just didn't score. So if he comes, at the end of the day, he's got Vardy next to him. If that could be the lineup potentially, you've got a guy both from Sheffield. Vardy has so much experience, in the Championship, Premier League a lot. So it can help Hurst if he's going to be them two. And that's a good point as well. Ryan's just put.
Yeah, Reedy, you sort of champion the cause for Hamza for next season. What do you think? Would Hamza make a good captain? Because he's a local lad and he can put his foot in, and we need that kind of leader. But do you think Hamza will? Hold on, it's Reedy, Ross. Do you think he can make the difference to us next year?
I think he can make a big difference. I think he is perfect for the Championship. He obviously went down to Watford to play in the Championship last season. I don't know how good he did, but apparently he actually did quite well for Watford. So
he started off well and then went downhill a bit.
Again, I wouldn't put him captain. I think he's still quite young, isn't he? Obviously, I know Dewsbill's still young as well, so it's either or. You probably could give it to him. I don't know, but I do think he'll be a massive asset for us in the Championship. Same as Dewsbill. I think both of them in more of a kind of DM / midfielder role would be absolutely perfect for us into the Championship.
See, this is what I sort of agree with Mark Gatewood here. Is anyone not worried? Where is the stability? Deals are not being done fast enough. Get rid of Rudkin and the backroom staff of 20 years. Build better, longer term success. Yeah, a little bit. I am worried that nothing seems to be incoming or outgoing at the minute. Geordie Jono, it's a little bit worried in my mind that nothing he's been there a week and nothing's happening. I know we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, give him a chance. He's only had a week there. But surely he's got plans in place and things must start happening soon, I would have thought.
You would hope so. Well, we haven't had a new team as such since 2018-19, have we really? We've had the same sort of, bulk of players for that amount of time. Yes, we've had great success. We won the FA Cup and whatnot, but we haven't had a big rebuild like this for a long time. And if it's taken this long for the club to get a team back together, then the staff are doing it. We got a new manager who's brand new. Get the similar sort of staff. Just get fresh. Just press the reset button. Just get rid of. They're taking this long to make a decision. Look at last season. We took so long to get rid of. We didn't get rid of Tielemans. And it effed us, but didn't get rid of Fofana. It ruined us. Let's not make the same mistake again. Just get new staff.
Just quickly on Jamie about when you were saying about people like Rudkin getting out the door. Maybe Phil was saying that maybe the reason why we got Enzo in instead of Parker was Enzo wasn't bringing anyone with him, where Parker was going to bring a whole backroom staff with him. So maybe that's why they wanted to keep Rudkin and that lot in the charge.
When you say backroom staff, do you mean like upstairs or just?
But either way, I think obviously Stow and the other guy as well. Obviously, they would be gone if Parker came in. What we've heard of, but because Enzo's come in, he's got no backroom staff because he's just come from Man City.
Andy, unfortunately, I'm not as big as Wayne Lineker in the holiday tourism business. That's why they've all gone to Ibiza and Ocean Beach. I'm not quite as big as Wayne Lineker, so don't come and see me, unfortunately. Yuri Tielemans was here last summer, but he never came to see me. I don't think he knew I was here, to be honest.
It's because you were slaying him all the time.
I wasn't. I didn't slate him. I just said he was slow, I think. Transfers. Craig Pearson's just put about we need to sell before we can buy. Madders, Castagna, Barnes, but I think Barnes will stay, and Didi. Who else have I missed? There's a few others I've missed, I think, so far. JJ maybe. Ricky P, but they're a bit injury prone. Do we need to sell before we buy, Ross?
100%. I think we need to sell before we buy, because then we know who's going. Then we can we can focus on getting, for example, a winger, or focus on getting a striker, or focus on getting a right back or whatever.
Striker.
I don't know why I meant.
You went all a bit American then. Striker.
I went that, but no. Obviously, Castagna's on about going to Juve, and Obviously, Soyuncu's gone to Atletico Madrid, so obviously we need a centre back. Obviously Barnes obviously been rumoured. Madison obviously Tottenham or Newcastle. So we need to sell before we can buy, because then the problem is if we buy more, what happens if we didn't sell? I'm not saying we might, but what happens if we don't? We buy too much. What happens if we don't sell?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Here's one for you, Reader. Keepers. See how we had stunned silence off everyone, even though I asked Reader the question. Because I wanted Everson from the start last year, and it's on one of my shows. I can't remember which one it was. I said Everson from the start. It should have been, and then Rodgers was too bloody stubborn to drop him. It dropped Ward after 26 games, and it proved vital. He had 2 seasons with Preston and won the Player of the Season both seasons in the Championship. Do we start with Everson, or do we get another keeper?
I don't think we need another keeper. I think the only one I'd get rid of is either Ward or Smithies, because I don't think we need 2 backups. But then again,
yeah, but you always need 3 though, because we've just got rid of 2 keepers in that.
I know what you mean. But again, Iverson's perfectly fine in the Championship. He's proved it before. He did it with who was it? I'm trying to think now. Preston, was it?
Preston.
Yeah, he done it perfectly. He was player of the season for them the other year, so no doubt he'll be perfectly fine in the Championship. We've said he was probably good, not want to say good enough in the Premier League, but he was better than what we had in Ward. So for me, there's no point getting someone else. And if we do get promoted, then I'd as much as it sounds harsh, I'd probably would drop Iverson down into number 2 and get someone in. For
the only problem is, from what I've read, Enzo likes his keepers to play the ball with his feet a bit more.
Oh yeah, he's only 1-footed, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's going to be like a sweeper keeper. That's what Enzo likes to play with, and Everson doesn't do that. And someone's just put there, his distribution is awful. Yeah, it wasn't that good, was it, Ross?
It wasn't. I mean, obviously, it's hard to. You just suddenly come. Oh, by the way, you're now a new keeper now. Oh, but I'll keep the goals out. That's what really annoyed me last season. The fact that he got brought in when we're already absolutely in the shit. That was the problem. If we get started at the start of the season, I'm not saying we'd go down, but we'd be in a lot better position. But in the day, Everson, we nearly sold him permanently to Stoke. If I remember correctly, Stoke or Sunderland, I can't remember which one it were. I'm so glad we didn't sell him permanently. Because in the day, look at that game against Everton when we drew. He kept us in it. There was a few games last season when he kept us in it. Yeah, he still conceded goals, but what can you do sometimes when your team is that bad? Oh, someone's dog's barking there. Just so I hope
someone's just walking past.
And even if we, I'd still give him as number 1. We kept Kasper Schmeichel as number 1. And he was our Championship goalkeeper. He started in the Championship properly. Just saying.
Yeah. Hold on a minute, really. Just carry on a second. Hold on.
Yeah, again, like you say, Ross, Schmeichel was number 1 still. But like Jeffrey says here, Mike Stow is goalkeeper coach. That is responsibility for making the distribution to a top level. And the last 2 keepers we've had is number 1s. Even Ward at times, we're just booting the ball up to the right and left off the pitch all the time. So
even Schmeichel had poor distribution. We can all argue that he had poor distribution a lot of the time. So we have another keeper which can distribute the ball. Like Kasper was a phenomenal goal stopper. Iverson last season kept in a lot of games because he's a great goal stopper, but we haven't had the ability to have, pass from the back and distribute it to midfield with the goalkeeper in a long, long time.
See, Jamie, that question, that message you just popped up there about Enzo will play pet football.
Oh,
you won't want that in the Championship, surely?
No, I don't think you will.
You won't want that.
I don't think that will work in the Championship.
No,
but I honestly think he will have plan B, plan C. I do not think he'll be the same stubborn bloke as Brendan Rodgers that will stick to the same plan. He will work
if you play like pet football in the Championship, you'll get absolutely run over because it's all about physicality now. It's not about playing the ball well.
100%. And what you've got to really understand is that Enzo has already said that players need to realise they are not a Premier League club anymore. They are the Championship side. So I think, obviously...
Here's a comment for you. Burnley did it. Company did it last year, playing that kind of football.
I think you need the level of players as well. I think the like of Dewsbury, as much as he's a good player, I don't think he's got the greatest passing ability.
I've been speaking to a Burnley fan that lives there, and they got rid of 12 players last summer and bought in a new team. And Company played the Pep way, sort of the Pep way, and they got up playing football instead of the old Sean Dyche way.
As long as we're attacking, I'm happy. You know, end of the day, we've got so much attacking abilities there. And I think with Enzo as well, obviously, he's looked at our squad. He's looked, obviously, he's had a look at his last season when he was the assistant to Pep. He's thinking, right, this is what they did bad last season. This is what we need to work on. I think he'll get to work straight away. As soon as he's, taking over that team, he will get to work on them. Obviously, we don't know much about him. We only know he's Pep's assistant and all that. He looks like Guardiola anyway. But, I'd rather have someone fresh that we don't know than somebody that already knows and all that stuff. Because people talk about all these other managers that I don't give a rat's ass. I want to bring in someone, again, he's Italian. And we all know what Italians can do at Leicester. We all witnessed that. So
the last Italian manager, look what he did.
He didn't. He only won the Prem. He didn't do much, did he? So it weren't too bad. And also, he was the manager of Parma as well, same as Enzo. So just gonna say that out there. I'm gonna shoot in a sec. I've got work in 4 minutes anyway, boys.
Wow. Make sure you're not late.
Make sure you're not late.
I'm waiting for the doors to open. So yeah, no worries, boys.
If you're on time, you're late, Ross. If you're early,
I'm actually
10 minutes early, you're on time. But if you're on time, you're late.
No worries. Well, I'll catch you in a bit, lads. Anyway.
All right. See you later, Ross. There goes Ross. Interesting comments from Ross there, occasionally, not often, but occasionally. Do you think then, lads, that he will go and get a couple of loans from Man City?
I wouldn't want him to, but
that seems to be the big question this week, that he might go back into the reserve.
Obviously, there's only one. Obviously, you're only allowed 1 or 2 loans, aren't you? But again, if you do, then just make sure they're the right fit, because you just don't want to bring him in expecting to be the Man City level and shoot the world on fire. For me, it's just making sure you get the right team and the right mentality to go into the season with a winning mentality, and hopefully get a win against Coventry and continue that. Because imagine this, obviously it's all ifs, buts and maybes, but imagine this whole championship season we either go unbeaten or we just keep winning games back to back to back to back to back. It'd be brilliant for a Leicester fan, wouldn't it? As much as it's not the Premier League, it'd be insane to smash the Championship again.
Yeah. David's put 2 loans per season. It's per team. It's not. It's 2 loans from any one team, isn't it? We're allowed.
I think so.
Yeah. But like I say, it's just one of them things. We don't know until the ball starts rolling with ins and outs. We just can't predict anything at the minute, can we? It's tough, and it's not very good. We've got the manager. It's been a week. Hopefully things are in place.
I think once someone goes, I think that's when you'll start seeing the players coming in. Again, we're asking for a manager for so long. That's finally came out. And I'm hoping now, once the likes of someone like Maddison goes quick, or I don't know, even Castagna at 20 mil, that already frees up money to go like, okay, let's start buying a few players at 10 mil each.
The only thing that I've got a problem is they don't start training until next Monday, the 3rd of July.
And then 2 weeks after that, you've got a Northampton game.
34 days, is it, before the season starts? Is 5 weeks enough to get his message over, or will it take longer?
What is the reason? Sorry, Johnny. What is the reason for him only coming in July?
Well, no, that's when the players. No, he's there now. He's there now. He's at Seagrave now, but pre-season training doesn't start till next Monday, a week on Monday.
Is that always the case?
Well, I think they have to have something like, I think they have 5 or 6 weeks off.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I think it is, but because the season, I think the Championship season ended 2 weeks before the Premiership season, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And so that's why, because the Premiership season, it's the same with that Asia Trophy win, or whatever it's going to be called. That got organised months ago before we even thought about going down, and then we couldn't pull out of it.
Imagine we win that.
What, beat Liverpool and Spurs?
Yeah, well, Spurs is easy. Come on. It's Liverpool that's going to be the hard one.
Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, Spurs win that, they'll think it's a major trophy, so it's all right.
Yeah,
Well,
they might win a trophy finally.
I thought the Audi Cup was a major trophy, didn't they? When they won that.
Yeah.
But right then, lads and lasses, I'm going to let everyone go because some of us have got to go back to work very soon.
Enjoy,
It's
mate.
been a privilege. I'm glad you two have helped me through this morning because I needed a bit of help by the start of the show. Geordie Jono, we shall see you later. Let's hope we've got something more to talk about than just fixtures and Enzo next week.
Yes, see you later.
See you later, pal. Be good. Why are we playing? Oh, I think that's just been organised months ago. Right.
It was never going to be cancelled. It was organised way before we even thought about relegation.
Andy, no, it's not double bubble on Sunday, unfortunately. Not for me. It's the same old for me. Right then, Reedy, we shall see you in the week sometime, mate. Cheers for joining.
No worries.
You're welcome, mate. And there's Reedy. Adios, Reedy. Bye-bye now. Yes, cheers for joining. Once again, it's been a privilege. I love every moment of being on here at 9:30 in the morning, and much appreciated that you, fans, get up to watch me. So it's ciao, ciao, adios, goodbye, arrivederci. See you soon. Final whistle. Come on, Leicester.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.